All right, let's dive right in. We're not talking about get-rich-quick schemes or fancy trading tricks today. Nope. We are going to build a real master plan for wealth, using a durable, time-tested blueprint that has worked for decades.
And to kick things off, I want to tell you a quick story that gets right to the heart of what investing is all about. It's about two people from completely different worlds whose financial lives took shockingly different turns.
So, on one hand, you've got Grace Groner. She was an orphan, worked her entire life as a secretary, and lived a very simple, quiet life. And on the other hand, Richard Fuscone. This guy is the complete opposite. Harvard-educated, a top executive at Merrill Lynch, he had all the pedigree, all the knowledge you could ask for.
And here is where the story gets absolutely wild. When Grace passed away, she left $7 million to charity. Richard, around the same time, he was declaring bankruptcy, having lost everything. So how on earth is that possible? Well, Grace just invested her small savings in the market and then did nothing for 80 years. She just let the magic of compounding do all the work.
This quote from Morgan Housel just nails it, doesn't it? Your success as an investor has very little to do with your degree or your IQ. It has everything to do with your behavior. It's all about psychology, not some complex spreadsheet.
So, speaking of behavior, let's talk about a feeling that I bet hits close to home for a lot of you. It's that feeling you get when you're, say, 45, you have a family, a good career, but you feel like you're way behind schedule.
Let's really zoom in on this person. A smart, risk-averse professional in India. He gets it, He's not looking for shortcuts, but he feels this constant pressure, that ticking clock, and the weight of all the years he didn't invest is just, it's nagging at him.
And listen, if that feeling sounds familiar, you are in very, very good company. That quote comes from a financial expert. So many people feel this way. But here's the thing about regret. It's not a strategy.
So you feel like you missed the boat. Okay, let's forget about the past for a second. We need to talk about the raw, unstoppable mathematical power of the time you have left.
To really hammer this home, let's look at this amazing little thought experiment. So you've got three sisters. They each invest 50,000 rupees a year. Sister 1 invests for just 9 years, starting at age 20. Sister 2 also invests for 9 years, but starts at 28. And Sister 3, she's the most diligent. She invests for almost 30 years, starting at age 36.
So the crore rupee question is, who do you think ends up with the most cash at 65? Common sense says Sister 3, right? She invested way more money. But, common sense would be wrong.
Check this out. It is mind-blowing. Sister 1, the one who invested the least amount of money but started the earliest, walks away with nearly 5 crores. That is so much more than her sisters. This proves one thing, beyond a shadow of a doubt. Time isn't just a factor in investing. It is the factor.
So what does this mean for our 45-year-old investor? It means everything. Forget the years you missed. They're gone. The 15, 20, even 25 years you have in front of you, that is a golden runway. The game is absolutely not over. It's just getting started.
All right, you're fired up, you're ready to go. So what do? We don't just build a portfolio. We build a fortress, something that's designed to withstand anything the economy throws at it.
And for this, we're going to steal a brilliant idea from one of the greatest investors of all time, Ray Dalio. He called it the all-weather strategy. And the name says it all. The point is to stop trying to predict the future and just build a portfolio that's so balanced it can handle any kind of economic weather.
In the Indian context, what that really means is diversifying. You want to own different kinds of assets that don't all move in the same direction. Think of it like a team. When your stocks are having a rough day, your debt holdings are there to provide stability. When inflation is high, gold can act like a shield. The goal is resilience. Okay, so let's put all this together into a blueprint, an actual plan, because the best plans aren't complicated, they're simple and they're powerful.
But first, just in case you needed a little dose of optimism, a reminder of why you want to stay invested in India for the long haul. Look at this number. Since 1979, the Sensex has grown over 820 times. Note, that is not a typo. Your job isn't to time this perfectly, your job is just to be in the market to capture that growth.
So, the actual plan? It's so simple, it's almost boring, which is exactly why it works. 1, you decide your mix, how much in stocks, how much in debt. 2, you use simple, low-cost index funds. No need to pick individual stocks. 3, once a year, you just rebalance. And 4, and this is the most important and the hardest step, you do nothing else. You let it work.
Okay, so you have the history, you have the strategy, and you have the plan. But we have to come back full circle to where we started this whole conversation. Because the final piece of the puzzle, the one that makes or breaks everything, is you.
Let's go back to Grace Groner, the secretary. What was her genius? It was her incredible, almost superhuman ability to do nothing, to leave her investments alone. Your biggest risk is not a market crash. It's you panicking during a market crash and blowing up your own plan.
Charlie Munger, one of the greatest to ever do it, summed it all up perfectly. Every single time you get jumpy and react to the news, every time you chase some hot trend, you are hitting the pause button on the one force that does all the heavy lifting for you.
And that's really what it all comes down to, isn't it? The plan? That's the easy part. You can set that up in an afternoon. The real work, the true challenge, is having the discipline to stick with it year after year through all the noise and chaos. That is the true test. And honestly, it's the only secret that matters.